Hook an introduction. What if I told you that the awkward feeling you get before meeting new people isn't your enemy? It's actually your secret weapon. That flutter in your stomach, that racing heart, that voice in your head questioning what to say next. These aren't signs you're broken. They're proof you're human, and more importantly, they're evolutionary gifts that can transform your social life once you understand how to use them. Today, we're diving deep into the science of social connection. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your social anxiety is actually brilliant design, how to build social skills like physical strength, and the exact techniques used by the world's most naturally charismatic people. This isn't theory. This is a practical blueprint based on neuroscience, psychology, and real-world testing. Let's start with a truth that will change everything. Every single person watching this video has the same social wiring. The difference between someone who seems effortlessly social and someone who struggles isn't talent, it's understanding. And understanding can be learned. Chapter 1. The hidden truth about social anxiety. Your brain developed social anxiety over millions of years of evolution, and it did this for one critical reason: survival. When our ancestors lived in small tribes of 50 to 150 people, social rejection didn't just mean hurt feelings. It meant death. No tribe meant no protection from predators, no shared food during famines, no help during illness. Your brain remembers this ancient truth. That's why when you walk into a room full of strangers, your heart races. Your ancient brain is scanning for threats, checking for acceptance, making sure you're safe in the social environment. This response isn't outdated, it's incredibly sophisticated social intelligence that's kept humans alive for millennia. Here's what changes everything. Once you reframe social anxiety as your brain's way of saying, "This interaction matters to me," it loses its power to paralyze you. Instead of fighting it, you start working with it. That nervous energy becomes focused attention. That heightened awareness becomes social sensitivity. That careful consideration becomes thoughtful communication. The most confident-seeming people you know feel this same anxiety. They've just learned to interpret it differently. They don't see it as evidence they don't belong. They see it as evidence they care about connecting well. This shift in perspective is the foundation of everything else we'll cover. Think about this. Your social anxiety proves you have empathy, emotional intelligence, and the desire to connect meaningfully with others. These are superpowers, not weaknesses. The goal isn't to eliminate social feelings. It's to understand them, accept them, and channel them productively. Chapter 2. The social muscle principle. Social skills operate exactly like physical muscles in your body. This isn't just a metaphor, it's literal neuroscience. When you practice social interactions, you create and strengthen neural pathways in your brain. The more you use these pathways, the more automatic and natural social skills become. Just like you wouldn't expect to bench press 200 pounds on your first day at the gym, you can't expect to become socially confident overnight. But here's the amazing part. Unlike physical muscles, social muscles never stop growing. You can continue building social strength your entire life, and every single interaction, no matter how brief, counts as training. The key is starting with micro skills. Making eye contact during a conversation isn't just politeness. It's one rep of social strength training. Asking a follow-up question that shows you were listening, another representative. Sharing a relevant story from your own experience, another representative. Each one builds neural pathways that make the next interaction easier. Most people try to transform their entire social life at once, which is like trying to run a marathon when you've never jogged around the block. Instead, focus on one micro skill at a time. Spend a week just focusing on remembering people's names. The next week, practice asking one follow-up question in every conversation. The week after that, work on sharing one personal detail that's relevant to the discussion. Your brain loves this systematic approach because it can track progress and build confidence incrementally. Each small success creates momentum for the next challenge. After a few months of consistent micro-skill building, you'll look back and be amazed at how naturally social interactions flow. Chapter 3. The 70-30 Listening Revolution. The most powerful social skill isn't talking, it's listening. specifically listening for 70% of the conversation while speaking for only 30%. This ratio is based on research studying thousands of highly successful social interactions, and it reveals something fascinating about human psychology. When people talk about themselves, their brains release the same neurochemicals as when they eat their favorite food or receive money. You're literally rewarding their brain by letting them share their thoughts, experiences, and opinions. But this only works if you're truly listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk. Real listening is active and engaged. Your brain should be fully focused on understanding not just their words, but their tone, their energy, their emotions. Notice what makes their voice light up. Pay attention to what makes them lean forward with excitement. Observe what topics make them speak faster or slower. Here's where most people go wrong. They listen to respond rather than listening to understand. Their brain is busy formulating clever replies while the other person is still talking. But when you listen to understand, something magical happens. People feel truly heard, which is incredibly rare in our distracted world. The questions you ask become more insightful because they're based on genuine curiosity about what they've shared. Your responses become more meaningful because they demonstrate you absorb not just their words but their meaning. This creates a cycle where people naturally want to know more about you, making conversations balanced without forced effort. Practice this by giving yourself permission to pause before responding. Let their words sink in. Consider what they've shared before crafting your reply. This pause isn't awkward. It's evidence of thoughtful engagement that people find deeply refreshing. Chapter 4. Curiosity as your social superpower. Genuine curiosity is the secret weapon of naturally charismatic people. It's not just about asking questions. It's about being authentically interested in discovering what makes each person unique. Every human being is a complex story with fascinating chapters you've never read. The beautiful thing about curiosity is that it's completely learnable and infinitely expandable. You can strengthen your curiosity muscle by consciously choosing to see each person as a mystery worth solving. What experiences shape their perspective? What challenges have they overcome? What discoveries have excited them recently? Instead of generic questions like, "How was your weekend?" Try questions that invite storytelling. What was the highlight of your weekend? Or, what's something you learned recently that surprised you? These questions signal that you're interested in more than surface-level information. You want to understand their unique experience. Curiosity also provides the perfect solution to social anxiety. When your brain is genuinely focused on discovering something interesting about another person, it doesn't have mental capacity to worry about how you're being perceived. The anxiety naturally dissolves because your attention is externally focused rather than internally obsessed. Watch what happens when you approach conversations with authentic curiosity. People sense your genuine interest and automatically open up more. They share stories they wouldn't normally tell. They reveal perspectives that surprise and intrigue you. This creates a positive feedback loop where conversations become naturally more engaging and memorable. Remember, every person you meet knows something you don't. They have experiences you haven't had, perspectives you haven't considered, insights you haven't discovered. Your curiosity is the key that unlocks this treasure trove of human knowledge and connection. Chapter 5. The Three-Person Theory. Every human being you encounter isn't just one person. There are three distinct versions existing simultaneously. Understanding this revolutionizes how you navigate social interactions and eliminates countless misunderstandings and hurt feelings. First, there's who they think they are. This is their internal self-concept, how they see their personality, strengths, flaws, and place in the world. Second, there's who others think they are, which varies depending on context, history, and the perceiver's own biases and experiences. Third, there's who they actually are, their authentic self that exists somewhere between these perceptions. Think about your own life for a moment. You have a clear sense of who you are, but you know others see you differently. Some people might see you as confident when you feel insecure inside. Others might see you as quiet when you feel like you have lots to say, but haven't found the right moment. Neither perception is wrong. They're just different angles of your complex human reality. This understanding instantly makes you more compassionate and less reactive in social situations. When someone seems unfriendly, you realize you might be seeing their protective version rather than their authentic self. When someone appears overconfident, you recognize they might be compensating for internal uncertainty. When someone seems distant, they might simply be processing their three-person reality. The practical application is profound. Instead of taking social interactions at face value, you start seeing them as complex dances between multiple versions of people. This makes you more patient, more understanding, and more skilled at connecting with people's authentic selves rather than just their surface presentations. Most importantly, this knowledge frees you from the exhausting attempt to control how others perceive you. Your job isn't to force everyone to see the same version of you. It's to be comfortable with all three versions existing simultaneously while staying connected to your authentic self. Chapter 6. The Question Funnel System. Master conversationalists use a systematic approach to deepen conversations naturally. The question funnel starts with broad, easy-to-answer questions and gradually moves toward more personal, meaningful territory. This creates psychological safety while building conversational momentum. Level 1 questions are factual and safe. What kind of work do you do? Or how do you know the host? These establish basic information and help people feel comfortable sharing. They require minimal vulnerability and give you foundational knowledge to build upon. Level 2 questions explore opinions and preferences. What do you enjoy most about your work? Or, what's been the most interesting part of living in this city? These questions reveal personality, values, and individual perspectives while still feeling relatively safe to answer. Level 3 questions dive into experiences and emotions. What's been the most challenging part of starting your own business? Or, what's something you believed for years that you've changed your mind about? These questions access deeper material and create genuine intimacy. The key is pacing this progression naturally. You don't rush from level 1 to level 3. You let the conversation flow organically, reading their comfort level and following their energy. When someone gives you a brief, surface-level answer, stay at that level. When they elaborate with personal details, you know they're comfortable going deeper. Combine this with active memory techniques. As they share information, create mental associations that help you remember key details. Their job in your mental living room, their passion project in your kitchen, their biggest challenge in your garage. This organizational system makes remembering details effortless. When you see them again weeks or months later, you can reference specific things they told you. How did that presentation go? Or, did you ever finish that book you were excited about? This demonstrates that your conversations mattered enough to remember, which is incredibly rare and powerful. Chapter 7. The Echo Effect in Subconscious Rapport. Human brains are wired for synchronization. When two people connect deeply, their breathing naturally aligns, their gestures mirror each other, and their energy levels harmonize. This isn't conscious, it's your social brain doing what it evolved to do. But you can accelerate this natural process through strategic awareness. The echo effect isn't about copying someone's behavior. That would feel fake and uncomfortable. Instead, it's about subtle attunement to their communication style and energy level. If they speak softly and thoughtfully, you naturally lower your volume and pace. If they're energetic and expressive, you allow your own energy to rise to meet theirs. This works because your brain interprets this synchronization as safety. When someone matches your rhythm, your nervous system relaxes and opens up. You feel understood at a level that goes beyond words. This is why you naturally feel more comfortable with some people than others. Your social rhythms align more easily. Pay attention to micro movements, the slight tilt of their head when they're thinking, the way they gesture when excited, the shift in their posture when they're really engaged. Your natural mirroring system wants to align with these patterns. You're just removing the barriers that prevent it from happening. The most powerful part of this technique is its subtlety. The other person never consciously notices what you're doing, but their subconscious registers the harmony. They simply feel more comfortable, more understood, more connected to you. This creates the foundation for deeper trust and more meaningful relationship. Remember, this isn't manipulation. It's amplification of your natural social abilities. You're simply becoming more conscious of processes that successful social interactions already contain. Chapter 8. Building social momentum. Social skills follow the laws of physics. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Once you build social momentum, maintaining it becomes exponentially easier than starting from a complete stop. This is why the most socially successful people never take long breaks from social interaction. Think of your social skills like a car engine. When you start it after sitting unused for months, it's cold, hesitant, and rough. But keep it running regularly, and it becomes smooth, efficient, and reliable. Your brain's social circuits work exactly the same way. The secret is consistency over intensity. A 5-minute conversation every day builds more social momentum than a 5-hour party once a month. Your neural pathways need regular activation to stay strong and accessible. This is why isolated people find re-entering social situations increasingly difficult. Their social muscles have weakened from disuse. Look for daily momentum builders that require minimal effort but provide consistent social interaction. Greeting neighbors warmly, having brief chats with cashiers, asking coworkers thoughtful questions. These micro-interactions keep your social engine warm and running. Each small social success creates energy for the next interaction. Confidence builds incrementally through accumulated positive experiences. What felt awkward last week becomes comfortable this week through repeated practice. What requires conscious effort today becomes automatic tomorrow through consistent repetition. The beautiful part about social momentum is that it compounds. As your comfort level increases, you naturally seek out more challenging social situations. As your skills improve, people respond more positively, which encourages further growth. Success builds on success in an upward spiral of social development. Chapter 9. Conversational threading and open loops. Master conversationalists never run out of things to talk about because they understand conversational threading. Every sentence someone speaks contains multiple potential conversation threads. You just need to learn how to spot them and weave them together skillfully. When someone says, "I just got back from a business trip to Denver," they've given you at least 5 threads to pull. The business they're in, travel experiences in general, Denver specifically, the timing of "just got back," and the nature of business trips. Each thread opens different conversational doors and reveals different aspects of their experience. The advanced technique is combining threads with open loops. An open loop is an unfinished story or intriguing detail that creates mental curiosity. Your brain hates incomplete patterns. It automatically wants resolution. Television shows use cliffhangers for exactly this reason. In conversation, you might say, "That reminds me of the strangest thing that happened to me in Denver last year." Then shift to ask them a question about their trip before finishing your story. Their brain now has an open loop wanting to know about your strange Denver experience, which gives you natural re-entry points throughout the conversation. You can weave multiple threads and loops simultaneously. Start exploring their business thread, open a loop about your own related experience, shift to the Denver thread, open another loop about travel mishaps, then methodically close these loops while opening new ones. This creates naturally engaging conversation flow that feels effortless but is actually skillfully orchestrated. The key is balance. Too many open loops create confusion and frustration. Too few make conversations linear and predictable. Master conversationalists maintain 2 or 3 active threads while gracefully closing loops at satisfying moments. Chapter 10. Strategic vulnerability and trust building. Trust isn't built through time. It's built through strategic vulnerability. Showing competence might earn respect, but showing carefully chosen vulnerabilities creates connection and trust exponentially faster. This happens because of oxytocin, the powerful neurochemical that bonds humans together. When you share something slightly vulnerable, a mistake you made, a fear you're working through, a challenge you're facing, the other person's brain releases oxytocin. This creates instant warmth and connection. But there's a sophisticated art to doing this effectively. The principle is progressive vulnerability. Think of it like climbing stairs rather than jumping off cliffs. You start with small, relatively safe personal shares. "I was nervous about this meeting too," or "I'm still learning how to navigate this situation." These create permission for others to share similar vulnerabilities. Each exchange should feel balanced. When you share something personal, they naturally reciprocate at a similar level. When they share something vulnerable, you match their emotional openness. This creates a dance of increasing trust and intimacy that feels natural and mutual. The most important insight: vulnerability isn't about sharing your deepest secrets with strangers. It's about showing you're human. When you admit to small struggles, normal fears, or learning processes, you give others permission to be imperfect too. This psychological safety is the foundation of all meaningful relationships. Strong people aren't afraid of strategic vulnerability because they understand it's not weakness, it's connection technology. Used skillfully and appropriately, it transforms surface-level interactions into meaningful relationships faster than any other technique. Chapter 11: Reading and Responding to Emotional Data. Every human interaction contains two layers: the content layer, what people say, and the emotional layer, how they feel about what they're saying. Most people only pay attention to content, but the emotional layer contains the most valuable social information. Your brain is constantly picking up emotional signals: voice tone changes, energy shifts, micro-expressions, body language variations. These signals are emotional data points that tell you how to respond most effectively. Someone's excitement, stress, confusion, or enthusiasm isn't random. It's information. When someone's voice brightens discussing a particular topic, that's data about their passions. When their energy drops mentioning work, that's data about their stress. When they speak faster about certain subjects, that's data about their enthusiasm. Learning to read these emotional signals transforms you from a conversation participant into a conversation conductor. The response skill is matching emotional energy appropriately. When you detect genuine enthusiasm, let your own energy rise to meet theirs. When you sense worry or stress, offer calm, steady presence. When you notice excitement, create space for them to elaborate. When you feel confusion, ask clarifying questions. This isn't about fixing or changing other people's emotions. It's about creating emotional harmony that makes them feel understood and supported. People remember how you made them feel long after they forget what you said. Advanced emotional intelligence means recognizing when someone's words don't match their emotional state. They say, "I'm fine," but their tone suggests otherwise. They claim to be excited, but their energy feels flat. These incongruences are opportunities for deeper connection through gentle, caring inquiry. Chapter 12: Context Navigation and Social Fluidity. Every social environment operates under different invisible rules, and master social navigators adjust their approach based on context. A coffee shop interaction flows differently than a business meeting. A wedding reception requires different energy than a library study session. These aren't arbitrary differences. They're predictable patterns. Your brain already understands context intuitively. You naturally speak differently to your boss than to your best friend. You instinctively behave differently at funerals than at celebrations. You automatically adjust your volume in restaurants versus concerts. We're simply making these adjustments conscious and strategic. Social context shapes everyone's behavior predictably. The quiet, serious colleague becomes animated at company happy hours. The loud, energetic friend becomes contemplative in museums. The shy person leads confidently when discussing their area of expertise. Understanding these context-driven personality shifts prevents social misunderstandings. The skill is reading context quickly and adjusting your approach accordingly. High-energy environments reward enthusiasm and expressiveness. Intimate settings value warmth and personal connection. Professional contexts require competence demonstration and respectful boundaries. Social gatherings benefit from inclusive, engaging interaction styles. Smooth context transitions are the mark of social sophistication, moving gracefully from professional networking to casual conversation, from group dynamics to one-on-one intimacy, from serious discussion to lighthearted fun. Each context shift requires subtle but important adjustments in tone, topics, and interaction style. Master social navigators don't force their preferred style onto every situation. They adapt their authentic self to match the social environment while maintaining their core identity and values. Conclusion: your social transformation journey. Everything we've covered today represents thousands of years of human social evolution distilled into practical, learnable skills. Your brain is already wired for connection. You're simply learning to use these natural abilities more consciously and effectively. Remember that every expert started exactly where you are right now. The most naturally social people you admire weren't born with special gifts. They developed these same skills through practice, observation, and gradual improvement. What feels impossible today becomes automatic tomorrow through consistent application. Start small and be patient with yourself. Choose one technique from today's video and practice it consistently for a week. Master that skill before moving to the next one. Social transformation happens through accumulated small improvements, not dramatic overnight changes. Your social journey isn't just about you, it's about all the lives you'll touch through more meaningful connections. Every conversation you improve, every relationship you deepen, every person you help feel understood creates ripple effects that extend far beyond what you can see. The world needs what only you can bring to it. Your unique perspective, your personal story, your individual way of connecting with others. These skills simply help you share that gift more effectively. Your transformation begins with your very next social interaction. Whether that's a text message, a phone call, or an in-person conversation, you now have the tools to make it more meaningful, more connecting, and more satisfying for everyone involved. Remember, being social isn't about becoming someone different. It's about becoming more skillfully, authentically yourself in relationship with others. And that journey starts right now.